Remember, lunch is almost ready.
Okay. Live, deep in the heart of West Texas, it's the James Hendricks Show, coming to you from the Hendricks Center for Excellence in Conservative Federalism. No exams, no diploma, all learning. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and hit the conservative news of the day. And we're going to go ahead and start in One America News, okay? Here's the top story. President Trump doubles down on his skepticism of cryptocurrency, saying he prefers a strong U.S. dollar. Okay, I like what most of what Trump is talking about. But I'm sorry. The more Congress kicks the can down the road, the more you're not going to have a strong U.S. dollar. I mean, don't get me wrong. Trump has a good business sense in that. But you can't stop the cryptocurrency deal, okay? It's going in droves. You think everybody is going to trust the Federal Reserve and the central bank? No. Unless Trump is willing to do some drastic overhaul, like get rid of the Federal Reserve and put us back on the gold standard. But how likely is that? See, I like most of Trump's policies, but I also understand the only way you're going to have a solid, strong dollar is if you back it up by solid assets like gold and silver. Now, if you give me a minute or so, I'm going to explain to you why you should buy gold and silver. Do you trust the Federal Reserve and the central bank to keep your assets going? I know I don't. So I want you to be in contact with Money Metals. I bought a couple of ounces of silver from them. And it's a good company. Some good solid assets for you to think about. And I know it's been a while since I've advertised for them. And so contact them. They got some good assets for you. Okay. UK may lock down due to Omicron. Jeez. The UK may lock down due to Omicron? How about governments in this world do some research? The Omicron variant is not as harmful as some of the others. But yet we have a world system that believes in this socialist propaganda, lockdowns and mandates. Come on. That brand of government does not work. Socialism does not work. Mandating and lockdown, that's going to cause more unrest, and we know that. And I think the UK is blind to such things. Now, here's another story that's more favorable for me to air. Senator Blackburn, Democrats, ripe with hypocrisy on election integrity. Woo! That's a good story to cover here. If I can access it without a bunch of stupid commercials. Okay, here it is. Good. In the second part of an exclusive interview, Senator Marsha Blackburn discusses how Democrats may be showing hypocrisy by opposing election integrity laws in red states. One America's John Hines has more. Well, there's audio.
So in the second part of an exclusive interview, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn talks about the risks posed to children by some social media platforms. One America's John Hines has more from Capitol Hill.
Talking about children, I know that you have been involved with this, I guess it's an internet media service, Instagram, and how is it that big tech algorithms jeopardize the safety of children, and what are you advocating in terms of
what we have
with respect
done,
to Instagram as other
what we have done this year at our Consumer Protection Data Security Subcommittee, where I'm the top Republican, we have held 5 different hearings, and we.
Okay, stop the tape. Now that makes sense. The Democrats, they're wearing egg on their face, trying to oppose election integrity laws in the red states. Well, maybe the red states have finally decided they've had enough. You can't tell me that the big tech and social media didn't try to swing this election towards Biden. You know? Social media tends to, along with the news media, entertainment media, sensationalize the crappy. Yeah. Think about that. Here's another story. Senator Schumer vows to hold vote on Biden's Build Back Better plan despite Senator Manchin's opposition. Schumer. You know, I wrote a poem about him called Schumer's Paradise. Because, you see, Schumer is living in a fantasy land if he thinks that the Senate is going to fully vote for this Build Back Better. When you have 52 senators ready to vote down Build Back Better, because you have 2 Democrats, Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema, saying, "Hey, sorry, Biden, but we're not covering this. We're not going for this." And hats off to Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema from the Democratic Party for finally having some guts to stand up and say no more. Here's another article that's worthwhile. Trump calls for new Senate GOP leadership. You know, I kind of have to agree with him about that. I really do. U.S. President Donald Trump. There we go. Donald Trump criticizes Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell for failing to stand up to the Democrat agenda. In an interview Sunday, the 45th president said McConnell should have objected to raising the debt ceiling unless Democrats abandoned their spending plans. You know, shame on McConnell and any Republican leadership that is going to just kiss up to Biden. Shame on you. In fact, shame on both parties. And I think that is enough for me to end the coverage of the news for a while. To give you my thoughts, if you're ready for it. How about we go back to the Christian form of government that is set up as the founders originally intended. I had a friend this morning ask me, well, what do you mean by being a conservative federalist? A conservative federalist sees good in both parties, but desires to take the country back to the original intent of the founders of the Constitution. And you know, news outlets on both sides of the aisle, they call our form of government democracy. That is not what the founders originally intended. Listen to me. Okay? Listen to me. Listen to me. And listen to me good. Plain truth. The founders said this in their treatise. We are not a democracy. We are not to become a democracy. Then what form of government are we to be? Hello? A republic? A republic? As a man who has studied political science, I remember a political theory professor I had. He said this. He said, we're not a true democracy. We're republic. Because if you have a true democracy, it's kind of like majority mob rules. It's like a free-for-all. He said, how do you think that the Greek democracy turned more into the Greek Empire? But yet both sides of the aisle, shame on them, want to continue calling us a democracy. Hello? Let's go back to the conservative federalist original intent of the founding fathers. God-fearing people. I don't care what these revisionists say. Are there atheists, agnostics, and deists? No, not necessarily. Well, Thomas Jefferson was a deist? No, not necessarily. They wanted us to be a God-fearing republic. A God-fearing republic. With no vaccine mandates, no Build Back Better. And I'm going to say this, and I know this is controversial. It's going to make people mad. But I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. I think some of these social programs, particularly for people with disability, if they want to work, I think the federal government should enable them to work if they want to. Even if it's just like me, work opportunities at home. Doing what we love. Instead of this one-size-fits-all trying to pigeonhole people, okay? And that's been going on for decades. I'm sorry. That's socialism. That is not what should be the real, true America. That is socialism, if not out full totalitarian communism. But you say, but Jimmy, you're being too mean. You're being too harsh. Really? You much rather sit there while both parties spin this into oblivion? Giving handouts that don't help the disabled that much at all? I'm a man that believes in hand-ups. Back to the way this country is meant to be by and go by. Now, I can understand if you're disabled and you can't work. But there's able-bodied people taking advantage of the system who can work, but won't. To them, I say, get off your duff. Get you a job. Find something that you know you love doing and go after it and do it. Okay? Now, I know my brand of politics is different from quite a bit of conservatives out there